Rand Water workers affiliated to the South African Municipal Workers Union are threatening to down tools next week. They're accusing the utility of stopping bonuses and increases. The parties have been in and out of negotiations for weeks. Gauteng Samwu Deputy Secretary Mamorena Madisha joins us now live. Thanks for your time, Mamorena. I appreciate it. So let's talk about your concerns first off. What are they?
Hi, Shahan. So our concerns, one, is for Rand Water Management to comply with the court order, to rescind their communication that they are not going to pay for our incentive bonuses. Second one is for Rand Water to actually start complying with their own policies and processes. So that is really, at the moment, the bone of contention.
Yeah. And the stalemate, are you getting no joy from Rand Water at all? Or do you have some wiggle room in terms of the negotiations?
Shahan, from our side, as members and employees of Rand Water, we are ready at any time of the day to come to the table. But unfortunately, what we are only receiving from Rand Water Management is sheer arrogance. It is tactics of intimidation and bullying, which we obviously refuse to recognize.
And then the ongoing negotiations with Rand Water, how are those? Is there hostility from their side, would you say, or even from your side? Because, you know, when it comes to wage negotiations, etc., we're always hearing different stories from either sides. Where do you stand there?
Shahan, a shining Rand Water is in all our best interest, including, ourselves as trade union officials, because that is the only space in which we operate in. So we could never intentionally, behave or conduct ourselves in a manner that wouldn't assist this current impasse. But unfortunately, what we are receiving, as I indicated, that is just the arrogance and the bullying tactics. We are being investigated. It's toxic. We've got the paper trail for all of this. To make matters worse is that we have been quite patient. There's a lot of wrong things that are happening to a point where currently we are sitting in a situation where an employee who's supposed to have finished their last working day to go on retirement has actually been offered an employment contract. When within Rand Water, there are a lot of employees that could actually bring to the table, the same skills and more, when we've got a whole lot of unemployed youth. But Rand Water, in fact, chooses to offer an employment contract to an employee who, according to our recruitment processes and our Rand Water policies, actually, is on retirement. And all of these things, Shahan, they happen without any consultation whatsoever. So our request is Rand Water must just comply and recognize their own policies.
Policies...
including the issue of our incentive bonuses.
Yeah. Now, policies around increases and incentive bonuses for many companies have been sidetracked given the COVID-19 pandemic, right? Would you give any consideration to that then?
We would, only if Rand Water was facing economic hardship. But that is on the contrary. With Rand Water's annual report, it is in their own annual report where they indicate that they actually have made a revenue of 16 billion rands. Now, how do we go to our members? How do we go to employees and say, okay, comrades, look, we just come out of COVID while we're still under lockdown. Are you willing to consider this? But to make matters worse, Shahan, we have requested for documentation. We have, really requested for documentation to say, okay, we hear what you say, we hear your claims, but we cannot sit here and accept your verbal reports. We have no appetite for verbal reports. Rand Water must open their books. We understand and appreciate the sensitivity, of such documents. So if there are any issues that they feel we would leak this, such documentation to the media, we are making an undertaking right now. We would never do that. This is in the best interest of both Randwater and Randwater employees. But they are not even bringing that to the party. Nothing. They literally are coming with nothing to the table except the arrogance and their bullying tactics.
Very quickly, will this strike disrupt water services at all?
Shahan, within Randwater's staff complement, more than 2,000 employees are Randwater members. But also we have received communication in writing that our other union, UASA and AMCU, will actually also be joining the strike. So this is an entire shutdown. We noted that Randwater indicated they have systems in place. We've been working there for 10 years. I don't know what those systems are. Only they know. We shall see on the 13th, Shahan.